Welcome to Conversations with Women in the Arena. Tonight, for the fourth week in a row and the final session with Dr. Bev, we're going to be talking about living every day on purpose. And we are so glad that you're here. I'm Michelle Cullison, and I'm the host, and our purpose here tonight is to help women and men stay off the sidelines and get into the arena of life. So, Dr. Bev, welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
And Dr. Bev, if you haven't heard the last 3 weeks, she is a psychologist located in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She has a wonderful counseling center called the Hope Center. She's a leadership coach, a speaker, and also a fellow skincare consultant with me. So I'm excited to share this evening with her for 10 minutes. She's going to share with you one of the most important things that we all need to really learn how to do, and that's live every day fulfilling our purpose. So welcome. Let's get started. So tonight, we've talked about the definition of purpose. We've talked about how to define your purpose. And tonight we want to talk about how to live on purpose. So last week, you helped my audience and yours develop their purpose statement. So the next question is, what in the world do we do with it?
And then what, right? So what, and then what? Well, there are big so whats to it, because when you really understand what is most important to you in terms of the contributions that you have to make, then one of three things will happen, or maybe all three. First of all, you may start to do some things differently. Do things with more passion, more excitement, because you begin to see in them ways that you can use those to fulfill your purpose on earth, that you can make a difference to people through what you're doing, even if it's behind the scenes kinds of things. So you might start to do things differently. You might also start to do some different things. I heard somebody say, I really don't have time to do those things that are most important. Well, if that's true, then stop doing the things that are not so important.
Exactly.
That will free up the time. So you have to take a look at those things, and you might actually change some of the things that you're doing. The ability to say no to things that you've said yes to just out of duty, or because someone else wouldn't do it. Who's going to do it if I don't? Well, guess what? If it's not your assignment, you're going to be miserable. You're going to do a terrible job with it, even though you try to be diligent in all that you do. And someone else is not going to have the blessing of doing their own assignment because you've taken it. And so the courage to say no to things while saying yes to those things that matter most, that's one of the outgrowths of really knowing what your purpose is. And Michelle, there's a third thing, and this one has been so exciting as we have seen people implement it, and that is to view the things that you're doing through the eyes of purpose. So view things differently, see things with different eyes. Some of those things at work that are just routine and boring and ho-hum, if you stop and ask, what would happen if I didn't do this? Well, if the answer is nothing, if it's really not making a difference, then maybe you need to go back to number 1 or 2 and quit doing some of those. But when you really stop and say, because I do this, it makes a difference to those clients. And think of a certain person in particular that's been helped by that. And that gives you more energy. We had a person, a great friend of ours, Sherry, who was in one of our purpose retreats and has worked a lot in Living on Purpose community with us. And her purpose, and I can't say it exactly, but it's like to ignite passion in others, to be able to use their God-given gifts and their divine design to, I forget just how it went. But a little everyday example is every morning she took her two kids to the bus stop. She drove them from home to the bus stop. And moms, you know how things are in the morning. It can get chaotic, everybody's grumpy, people are sleepy, and so on. And so there was that little 5 minute or so ride to the bus stop. And Sherry began to see that as an opportunity to fulfill her purpose with her children. So she intentionally began to, whenever she knew what her son was having that day, she would call out his strengths that she had seen him use in other situations, and how she knew he was going to do a great job with that. And then her daughter, in the same way, calling out her courage, because sometimes she was a little shy. And so she began, by the use of her purpose and the understanding of who she was and why she was, to take advantage of this little everyday time slot to really make a difference to her kids.
That's just beautiful, because it really then elevates the small things. And as you know, those small things can actually, it's those small things that we do every day that do create the big things that write our story, right? So that I love that. So viewing things differently, saying no to some things so you have more time,
doing some different things,
doing some different things.
and
So
not doing some.
that's great tips.
Doing things differently.
Yes. Well, the other thing, when we think about purpose, I know this is true for me and maybe it's true for others. I sometimes think, what does that have to do with big dreams? I'm a dreamer. I love to create vision. So what does our purpose have to do with those big dreams that we have in our lives?
I love talking about this because I think that this is a place that a lot of people have gotten a little bit off track about not feeling they have purpose now, because they keep looking for it out there. They have a dream, and I believe that some dreams are God-given. If they won't let you go, if they are aligned with God's purposes and God's love, and it just won't release you, then it probably is a God-given dream, and you don't need to let go of that. But that dream is not your purpose. Your purpose is at the core and gives birth to a dream. And so a dream can be an expression of your purpose, right, but it's not your purpose. And this is really important, because you have purpose all the time. It's not out there, it's in here. It's not out there, it's been here. It's been with you for a long time, as we talked about, looking back over those meaningful parts, and it's right here. And so living on purpose right where you are, seeing what you're doing as meaningful and choosing to do those things that are more meaningful, doing that here and now while taking small steps in the direction of dreams, keeping your eyes open for opportunities to further that dream, being on the lookout for people who are of like mind, who can help you to advance your dream. But you do that while living on purpose in the everyday life.
Right, because then you're not setting yourself up for this one big thing. You're not putting your whole identity into some expectation. It's okay to have those expectations, but to feel fulfilled now. So I love that. Now we're going to wrap up, and I want to ask you this final question. And this is not just the final question for tonight, but the final question for this whole month of living on purpose. So what are the 3 pieces of advice that you would want to leave with my audience members about living on purpose?
There's so many pieces of advice. Yeah. But I would say the first one is know without a doubt that you are a person of purpose, that you have not been left out of God's plans, and that He knew way before you were born, way before your parents ever got together, exactly why He was placing you on this earth, that you were bringing a certain contribution. And that's just such a such a boost to your sense of value and self-esteem. So know that
It's
without a doubt.
life-giving.
And
When you were saying that, I was thinking it's life-giving. It just makes you feel full of life to have that said.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it gives energy and
Yeah.
passion to your life and to the things that that you're assigned to do, and that you're taking those opportunities. And then I would say be intentional about defining your purpose. And we gave some hints about that last time about how to do that. But I think that that's really important because it helps you make decisions. We had one person that went through our purpose retreat that chose her dissertation, her topic of her dissertation, after she defined what her purpose was. And boy, does it take some doing to stay motivated during your dissertation, but she just
You know
increased
that.
that
Yeah.
likelihood. So it helps you make decisions. And then I would say the third thing is really be aware and take the time in the morning, every single morning, to review what your purpose is, to think through your day, to ask God to keep you alive and aware of the opportunities to be who you are, to in all those unexpected and expected situations that you'll face in the day. I mean, we talked about learning your purpose and loving yourself and your purpose and living it, and then linking up with a like-minded community. And that really kind of summarizes all of this advice. And I just pray that people have gotten something that they can use, that in fact, if they put it to work, it's life-changing.
Well, I've already gotten so many comments from people, when I see them in person or via text saying, thank you so much. I know that your message is going to continue to reach people, and it's touched me. I've been mindful of it, of living on purpose throughout this month, more so than normal. And so thank you so much, Bev, for sharing your time with us this month and your great message of hope for people, of life-giving message that we have a purpose that's God-given that can just drive our life and fill our lives with joy in the lives of others as well. So if you guys want to learn more about Dr. Bev Smallwood's work, you can connect with her on Facebook, but also on the Living on Purpose community on Facebook. That is where this is the topic every day, every month, and all year long, where you're talking about purpose. She will be releasing some things about her upcoming purpose retreat, and you can also visit her website, drbevsmallwood.com. So we're so glad to have her invest in our audience this month. I would like to also invite you over to michellecullison.com to learn more about my work. You can catch the earlier episodes of the Purpose Month on my website. And I want to invite you back next week, because we are going to talk about how to take your purpose and turn it into profitability, because sometimes it's necessary. You hear a lot about chasing your passion and working in your passion, but you got to pay the bills. So how can you pull that purpose into your profitability? And we're going to be hearing from a wonderful woman named Desiree Young. And I hope you'll join us next Monday night at 8 p.m. live, if technology serves us well next week. But if not, we'll get it recorded and posted. And thank you so much for joining us. Bev, thanks again.
It's been
wonderful.
A pleasure. I can't wait for that next step about profitability.
Purpose and profitability. It's a great alignment, right? All right. Thank you so much. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.